Ausmus won a title earlier this week. It's crazy to see him here having the potential to win a second title. Already won 1.892 million in the 25K. Clemens got ace-10. Looks like he's going to stay away. Mikita Badziakouski, 6-5 of clubs. Very playable. Bounty or not, would be defending this big blind. Jeremy started this hand with 37 bigs. So it is kind of hard to get stacks in even post-flop, given how deep they are. But we'll see.
Flop is 3-6-4, 2 hearts. Mikita, I mean, probably too deep to check raise, play for stacks, but maybe not. I mean, with the bounty to consider, maybe you just want to play this ultra aggressive, and you know, if your opponent has an overpair, they have an overpair, and then you can get a potential $80,000 equity bounty and another 5 million in chips. But it's going to start with a lead instead, which I think makes sense.
I would say it's definitely not too deep to get in because of the bounty aspect, right? That's more than the pay jump, the value.
Yeah.
So he's leading here because he expects Ausmus to check back a lot of, you know, like high cards that whiff, check back, maybe even some overpairs because of how dangerous the board is. You could see it potentially. So he wants to prevent that from happening. He's probably leading the flop with air, like 7x as well as stabs.
Yeah, it's interesting because these kind of spots, I think players when they lead they are relatively balanced, but the percentage of their range that is behind jacks is quite significant. You're talking about the bluffs like the 7x's, maybe some 5x's. This is 6-5 in particular, I think is pretty high up in Mikita's range, right?
Yeah.
So Mikita might even just want to protect against the fact that he has, you know, part of that top range and just put all the chips in. And if he is up against something like this, let's run it. I'm 45%, right?
Yeah, I
2 million.
Yeah, I like this re-raise from Mikita, and it's just that if he's up against an overpair, he's practically flipping. Now he gets this overlay from the bounty because he has the covering stack.
Yeah, and Ausmus did not raise to fold here. Obviously, he's not thrilled that he seeing all these bets, 4 bets, 4 or 5 bets that have to go in with 7 players left. But yeah, he's ready to play for stacks.
Yeah, I mean, he knows jacks is usually best. Has to play for stacks now. Against a combo draw like this, he's slightly ahead. And well, yeah, once you raise the flop, you've just created a situation where stacks fly in.
All in. All in.
Here we go. Look how big this pot is. Over 10 million, 11.375. And that is what Mikita wants to see. Didn't want to see like a set or like some kind of big heart draw. This is as good as it gets for Mikita to potentially get a bounty and even a pay jump if he knocks out Ausmus.
And some cards where Ausmus is dead on the turn, and that's pretty
bad.
Almost as dead as you can be. Life support. Somebody get out the defibrillators. We might be losing Jeremy Ausmus. It's going to do the trick. And Mikita's chip lead.
Thank you. Good game, buddy.
You got a guy who collects bounties for a living. All right, Biao's going to open up ace-9 off.
Uh-oh.
Let's see how Mikita wants to approach this
Candidate.
baby-suited ace.
Yeah, I mean, can put a great deal of pressure. I mean, ICM is more and more relevant as we consider these big payouts.
I would say normally we see 3-bet. He comes in with flat. Perhaps it's more so that he doesn't get rejammed on once again. And of course his hand has plenty of playability post-flop.
Interesting spot now for 𝐬𝐫𝐞. He's just going to fold. I think maybe, yeah, some pause given to the breakdown of what's happening here.
The deeper the players involved are, the less reason for you to take marginal hands post-flop. So
Yeah.
like King Jack off there, like he's playing against 40 big blind stacks. It's just, you need to like really cooler someone hard for you to be able to collect a bounty. So it makes sense why King Jack off is out, which can easily be dominated. Onto a flop, these three. Some damage could be done. Two players of top pair.
Yeah, wheel gut shot for Mikita, which is, as far as flops go, you really don't hate this. And you decide to play this hand as a call pre-flop.
Could easily check through on the flop. Just kicker issues for Mikita.
350.
A little sprinkle. But once he gets called here by Biao, probably not looking to bet that many turns unless Mikita improves to 2-pair plus. Should be throwing this in the check call range for Biao. Need to protect his weaker parts of his range, like the pocket pairs. Safe.
And Mikita's going to think he's ahead a decent percentage of the time here. I think there's some big pairs that can be played as check calls, but also some better aces, like an ace-9.
Yeah, there's a lot of better aces in Ding's range, so I don't really see why you would want to continue to bet once you got called on the flop. 2.2 in the middle as we go to river card, and the straight gets there for Mikita. Everything going Mikita's way. With the 4-liner out there, could see Ding go for a block fold. Unless he just thinks that Mikita would sometimes bluff raise him, which I could see it. There's not much 4x in Ding Biao's range.
What's it going to be, Mikita? 2.2 million in the middle.
Most likely hand that pays him off is an ace-x, so doesn't need to go too small. Probably doesn't expect like 9s through kings to call anyways, given one flop already went in post-flop.
3 million.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah.
3 million into 2.2.
And it's not just the 4 I think Ding Biao has to be worried about. I think ace-5 will also take this line.
Set of 5s as well.
Yeah, if Mikita has 5s pre-flop, might just sprinkle on this flop, try to clear out some broadways with pocket 5s, and now you've gotten there on the river. Same can be said for pocket 4s. So that's a decent amount of combos of ace-4 suited, ace-5 suited, pocket 4s, and pocket 5s. And Ding has to consider, do I really think Mikita would just have an air bluff on this flop, give up on the turn, and then, you know, obviously it's a very scary river card, but does that feel a bit erratic? Does it feel like something that Badziakouski would really do? What do you think, Randy? Can you think of some bluffs that might be in?
Well, Ding's made the call.
Wow.
Everything is going Mikita's way. That. Got to give 𝐷iengBiao some credit to make that turn call, too. It's just that he got one up by Mikita with the follow through.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen if Mikita pulls the trigger on something, you know, less appealing of a bluff card, that third spade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very important to kind of block the backdoor flush calls from the ace-x suited, you know.
And now Mikita, perhaps rightfully, getting a little cocky. 10-8 offsuit from the hijack.
It's like the perfect player's big blind to raise into because Ding's actually quite short now with the blinds moving up to 250, right? And he's getting shorter.
Yeah, I mean, look, but DingBiao, like,
He wants to
might
get him
be
back.
He's gonna be like a feral animal that's a little wounded, but he'll fight for these these pieces of cheese. I'm telling you, he's in there with the 7-deuce suited. He doesn't care if he's, you know, down to 15 big blinds, and has flopped a 7. But I'm telling you, Mikita's gonna make it real hard on him with that open-ended straight draw, with that diamond in hand.
Mikita should be opening the pot with a bet. Obviously, it's great if he takes it down, but he's willing to get it in against a 3.4 million chip. Like, he doesn't want to create a situation where he checks it back and, you know, they don't get all the chips in, but if he happens to make his hand.
And this is a bit of a weird spot for Ding. I mean, just coming off a hand where playing sort of passively and eventually getting bet off it, the board's almost always just going to get worse for his hand. So if you do decide to flick in the call here and then you face a 50% pot bet on the flop, maybe you do just want to play for stacks. But no, it's just going to call the downside again. Too big. Just really wants to improve here or find a reason to fold. Maybe he does even want to see you know, a jack of diamonds on the turn just so he can get away. But instead it's the deuce, and I think all of it is coming, Randy.
I could see it. If he feels that 5x, 7x is going to hang around and then just check fold, there's some like gut shots that are just going to check fold, like Jack 10 that would check call flop. That'll be great for Mikita.
And I don't want to discount the possibility that Ding might make a hero call facing an all-in here. You know, Mikita is representing a 9 or better. Tons of draws to consider here. You know, a Jack 10 off, any kind of diamond combos, as weak as 10-8 off.
Yeah, this is just a win-win situation for Mikita to jam here. Right? Either he takes the pot or he's got good equity and potentially takes a bounty down.
I mean, I think Mikita opens queen deuce of diamonds under the gun here, right?
Yes, I see that.
So that's just a zillions of diamond combos. Queen deuce of diamonds, queen 3 of diamonds, queen 6 of diamonds, king deuce of diamonds. So there's a ton of diamond combinations. Ace 4 diamonds, ace 2, ace 3, ace 3.
Obviously, there's just a
yeah.
ton of
And he
hands.
goes
That's
for
a
it. That's
great
why.
call.
Yeah. Look at
𝐷iengBiao
that. Makes a stand.
with 7 deuce.
And he actually kind of gives him a little look like, yeah, I told you, man. I'm ready to play.
Tremendous read from 𝐷iengBiao. But he still has to.
I want him to hold, man.
fade.
This is some nice revenge. This is nice, like, just like two absolute assassins, you know, just sniping each other across buildings. Ding got real clipped. And
𝐷iengBiao
holds on.
holds.
That's my clap, but
Is
man,
this like
that's
the-
just good stuff. This is that's why we're here.
The biggest 7 deuce pot of 𝐷iengBiao's career. Oh, like, oh my God. Clemens, ace jack.
All in.
Rips it
How much
into
is that?
Mikita. Mikita's asking for a count. Who has jack 9 offsuit?
Oh, sorry.
This is a 15 big blind jam, blind versus blind. 4 remaining. It sounds expensive for this hand.
6 what?
Yeah, real consideration here from Mikita. The upside of 80 grand in equity. I think he's going to recognize he's going to be behind a good deal of the time, but a lot of the time he's also going to be 40% to win. In this case, he is going to be absolutely dominated, crushed.
At first glance, my instinct is this is a bit loose.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we've seen the way Mikita's been playing. It's been very bounty driven.
Damn.
It seems like he's on the cusp. Like, I guess he just snaps off Jack 10 off. The problem is there's still the regular prize pool to be played for, right?
Yeah.
Where the payouts just get bigger when there's 3, 2 remaining.
Ooh,
Oh my
wow,
God.
he's grabbing those chips like he wants to put them in.
I mean,
Oh
I
my God.
have no idea, but I gamble.
No idea, gamble. Okay, that's a huge gamble. He's in terrible shape. Is Mikita going too hard for the bounties? That's the question.
And Reutder is in an incredible position here to send Mikita to short stack land. Our one-time massive chip leader who had near 20 million at risk now being left with just 4. Just has to dodge, and 9 on the river does Reutder.
Full double up for Clemens Reutder. He's got 12.6 million now. Mikita, he said, all right, I don't know, I gamble, and now he's down to just 10 bigs.
75.
Ace Jack.
All in.
Maybe just rip it in. Yeah, rips it in.
Ooh,
Snap
that
so
is a
fast.
very close call.
Oh, Ace Queen versus Ace Jack. Huge cooler. Blind versus blind.
Chop, chop.
Yeah, this is
Take a chop.
tough.
I don't even know what I want. What do I want? What do I want?
You want me to win?
Do I?
No, actually, I think you want him to win and me left with 2 bigs. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Ами ja tu s dama. Actually, tu s valet. Ace Jack is all in.
Mikita is still got the best
Huh?
hand.
Yeah, Diamond's
I'm
not
Ace
going to
Jack.
help Clemens.
Why you put it here? I have more. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Count afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
But I need to know my sweat here.
Eeh.
Yeah, just one of the 3 remaining jacks, or Clemens Reutder, one-time chip leader, going to be going home in 3rd place.
That's it.
I'm not sure.
Gonna do some official counting.
So
But it is
10.5,
Mikita who does
11.5,
have
11.9.
the covering stack. Min raise from Mikita. Do have a defense against the min raise.
Right.
Big blind ante also involved in this pot. More reasons to defend. Oh no!
Yes. Yes, Sean. This is your moment, Sean.
Mikita has top pair. He's up against trip 5s. Probably a small c-bet here, trying to induce some kind of check raise or maybe some floats from like backdoor flush draws from like the queen and jack highs. Yeah, min bet makes sense.
Yeah, and this is your opportunity here where, because this bet, intended to elicit bluff raises, it's going to be balanced between the times he actually has it, and right away is going to come out with raising chips, makes it 2.5.
Yeah, this is the right price to check raise with, because if Mikita just had nothing, you don't need to check raise too big. Nowhere to go but call for the king. Needs to keep the bluffs honest.
Yeah, I'm sure Mikita's of two minds right now. I think he's quite okay with this because it's what he wants from the bluffs, but he is weary that, you know, there's 12.9 million behind for Winter, and there's already 10 out there. That's quite an interesting card. Just in that, you know, if Mikita happened to have been limping the button with ace-x,
Well,
and even a strong ace-x, he might have min-bet the flop as well and now turned an ace.
This is a raised pot. So
Oh, it is, you're right.
Yeah, Mikita min raised pre.
You're right.
So he does have a decent amount of ace-x, right? To min-bet call a tiny check raise on a flop. He also has king-x. Like, Winter trying to make it look like he's given up with his trip fives. Check through.
Yeah, that check kind of surprises me a little bit from Sean Winter.
I think the reason he checked is because he thinks Mikita will bet call floats and may stab.
When he doesn't have it on the turn, the ace
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah, like Mikita probably is the type to bet call with like even like jack high with like backdoor hearts, diamonds, spades,
Yeah.
etc. So he's hoping like these things stab.
Yeah. So he creates another street for himself the times that Mikita is just going to bluff the turn. But the strength of this line, once it comes bet check back, feels, you know, even if in a way it feels unbelievable, it doesn't seem very bluffy, right?
Let's see what kind of sizing he goes for. He might be able to get crying calls based on the sizing he opts to do against King X. He's not going crying call. He's going massive. How much is that? Practically all of it. He's saying I have a 5 or I'm bluffing. Feels like the ace is off the table for Winter.
Imagine deuce 4 of hearts, too. Like,
I suppose there's some
What is it?
combos of that.
yeah.
The thing is, Mikita has 3 pair. Feels like the 3 is not that relevant, but still. Huh. This is just a soul reading situation, isn't it? You got it, Winter, or you don't.
Knows that he is capable, perhaps of the same mind as my suggestion that if he did have a 5, how often would he check versus betting?
Time makes it running out for Mikita. What's his gut feeling? Oh, he looks like he's going to toss that one in, doesn't he? Yes, he calls. Sean Winter shows the 5 commanding chip lead.
Yeah, the meta game going on in this spot.
Hold on 1 second.
12-5. 12-5, sorry.
What is it?
12-5. 11. 12.
Sean Winter might close this one out. Look at that lead. It's very, very important to get every single chip you can, especially when you're short. Jack 6 suited versus A6. We know Winter is willing to get all of the chips in, whether...
Yeah, this might be it right here.
Yeah, he might... If Mikita jams, he calls. If Mikita limps, he jams. Like, Winter's always all in pre-flop. And it seems like Mikita is as well, and he's in terrible shape.
All in.
All in. Showdown, please.
Ah, yeah.
Doesn't like to see that domination nation. And is Sean Winter going to find himself with his first Triton Super High Roller title?
Let's go.
Been
Diamond,
on the
diamond.
tour for the better part of the last 3 years. So many final tables.
Diamond, diamond.
Mikita getting greedy, wanting a
good
chance
flop.
for his 6th. Yeah, very good flop. Open-ended straight draw for Mikita. Backdoor diamonds. Ace high still good. Five on the turn, changes nothing. Winter wants to get this thing off him. He knows it's time. It's his time.
He feels it. Is this it?
It is. Sean Winter is your 40K No Limit Hold'em Mystery Bounty champion. Well deserved. His first Triton trophy, first of many in my estimation.